What's up YouTube, Dave here from Zephyr Wargames, bringing you what probably should have been the first one, the proper Darklord deck. Now the first one I did was chucked together. I went to a random tournament up in Birmingham, went 4-1 and I was like, oh okay cool, this deck's good. When I brought it back down to my locals, I found out it wasn't that good and I actually got trashed with it. So I then went back, rebuilt, and this is what I built with. Now this one did go 4-1 again at my locals properly, and I faced Metal Foes, Paleozoic Toads, Trap Burn deck, Madolches, and what was that last one? Oh, and Felgrand, pure Felgrand build, Felgrand Christia deck. So, without further ado, I'm going to crack into these and we'll go through it. Now, I appreciate everyone's comments on the previous video. Oh, well, some of them that have suggested inclusions, and obviously I completely agree with them. So, without further ado, we'll crack straight into it. Triple XL. Try playing it too. You need this card at free. It's a shame that people, like, if you're building this deck, I would say wait. Do not pay anywhere near £20 to £25 for this card. There's no way. It's worth 10 to 15. I pulled one and traded two at the value of about £15 because that is what that card is worth. Second-hand market is getting greedy. It is not worth 25 quid. It's a good card in the deck, but not worth that amount. Next up, Triple Superb. I mean, to be totally honest, apart from this card, the deck is relatively cheap. Like, if you put the Terratop engine in, it's a little bit more expensive, but you know, if this was at its, you know, a £10 card, it would still be a relatively cheap, fun, and competitive deck. So, Triple Superbia, again, must-play card. Now, I learned quite a lot over the weekend playing this. Obviously, if you bounce back Contact from the graveyard, it misses timing, so it doesn't revive too. So that's something. Obviously, it's because because it says when. So the timing misses of that. So if you bounce back Contact, if you activate Contact from hand, it works. But if you bounce back Contact, it doesn't get that. Double Nasten. I haven't tried it at free. I'm looking into playing it at free, but 2 seems about right for me on in this build. So I'm not really too fussed about that. 1 Andisk, 1 Zerato. So Andisk is just for another Darklord target. It's a really nice defender. And then obviously the ability to ditch this card and another card to then bring back a Darklord card from grave if you need to. Zerato, and then 1 Morningstar. So obviously Andisk can recycle Morningstar. So if you have to ditch Morningstar through whatever accounts, you can bring Morningstar back. And Morningstar's really nice. I tried it at 2, it clogs too much, but at 1 it's really nice. It's basically, if you go first, you want to be opening up, like if you open up with a Terratop engine, I would suggest going into Christia if you go first. If you go second and your opponent's got a full board, you go into Morningstar. Next up, Triple Gamma Seal. This could probably be bumped down to 2 if you wanted to. However, it is a trade-in target. You could easily take one of these out for Raiden, so you've got an Allure target. But in this deck, I think it works out at about, what we got? We've got 3 Superbia, 1 Zerato, 3 Gamma Seals, and then 2 Christians. So you've got 9 trade-in targets. And then with the Darklords, you've got, I believe it's 11 targets. What we got? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, yeah. So you've got 11 Allure targets, so you want your more trade-in targets. And I personally feel that in this day and age with Toads and Maxes, stuff that can't be targeted, can't be destroyed, Kirin, stuff like that, being able to main a Kaiju is really, really good. It's not perfect. I mean, my deck does, there are a couple of cards I want to get into the deck, like Strikes and Barriers. But when we get to the traps, there's probably traps you could take out for that quite easily. So Triple Gamma Seal, double Christia, because again it's a first turn lockout. And if you trade it in, I play Call of the Hornets to bring it back. Triple Terratop and double Tuckenborg. Now, I tried it half because I wanted to try and fit the barriers in, and it was okay. It worked okay, but bumping it up to 3 because I've upped Christians to 2 and Darklaw, Morningstar. Plus I played quite a few good rank 3s in the extra deck. Bumping up the whole engine to double the amount just means that if you, after activating your first Teratop, if the game does stall out longer, you still have the ability to go for a second Teratop and a tuck on board, so it's not all end all. Now onto the spells. This is where I made a huge mistake in the first one. Triple spells of everything. I thought it was bad just seeing it too regularly, but to be honest, you can never see this too regularly. Like triple banishment, triple contact, you need to see them. I know you can only activate them once per turn, but the fact you can discard them with the effect of Darklords, Ixel and Nasten, the ability to just bounce them back as many times as you want is just too good. Triple Allure, I really dislike the cost of this card. And believe it or not, 9 times out of 10 yesterday when I was activating it, I was sending everything to the grave. But it's not the end of the world when you send in some of the stuff to the grave. In this deck anyway. Triple trading, because draw power, you've got the targets there, you might as well go for it. Now some people are playing Pot of Demise. No, not Pot of Demise, sorry. Pot of Desires, there we go, I'll get it right. I keep mixing up Card of Demise and Pot of Desires. Anyway, so people are playing Pot of Desires. It takes the deck to a whole new level in price range. I personally don't like the card in the deck. We do play a lot of freeze, but you know, I think there's enough turbo, there's enough draw power in here for now, for this build. Like, this isn't pure turbo. If you put in the pots, then yeah, it is turbo. But you've got 6 draw cards there in spells, plus you've got your Ixels, which is dumps and draws anyway. So with this build, I'm quite happy with it like this. Next up, now this is where this differs from quite a few Darklords, is I play double enchantment and double rebellion. Some people play 2 rebellion, 1 enchantment. I actually really quite like the enchantment. I know it's not as effective. It's really good on your turn, and it kind of provides you that protection. If you're waiting on that one draw, it can provide you the protection during your opponent's turn. I know they get their monster back, but it stops them in their tracks. So I really like it. The fact that it doesn't target and anything like that, I think it works really nicely. Now you could easily bump it down to 1 and you can get your strikes in and your barriers in. But at 2 I quite like it. And it also gives you that more fodder to dump for your Darklord cards. Next up is Double Call of the Haunted. It's okay. Like I said, it helps really well if you've got a full board and then you've got this on your back row to bring back Christia. But then obviously Christia has a weakness. When you pop this, Christia will go. But it also helps you bring back obviously your Darklord cards, and then you can start activating their special summon effects, their effects of paying a K and shuffling stuff back. So it's an iffy card. Like, you can drop it down, you can bump it up however you see fit. I mean, you could easily put an Oasis in there if you wanted to. But yeah. And then the one Solemn Warning, because Solemn Warning is, you know, at 1 for a reason, and it's one of the best track cards in the game. Like I said before, there's other cards I would like to put in here. I'd like to put strikes, I'd like to put barriers, I'd like to put just a bit more in here. But that's a 40 card deck there as it is. I'm quite happy with it. Like I said, this is just after this weekend's locals, so I will be tweaking with that. Any suggestions, by all means, put them in the comments below. Next up, we go with the extra deck. So I play 3 rank 3s. You've got Dante. Didn't really go into him as much as I wanted to. Like, yes, he's really good. He helps with the mill if you're absolutely stuck. But if I'm going first and I go into the Teratop engine, if I don't have Christia to lock my opponent out, then I'm going into this guy, Totem Bird. And Totem Bird put in quite a bit of work this weekend, actually, because I managed to get Totem Bird on board. Like, I think I trade in Christia, set a call, went into Totem Bird to protect it, and then Call of the Haunted during their turn to bring back the Christia. So I had a Christia on board, a Totem Bird on board. So they couldn't special summon, and I had a negate if they did try and pop the... did try to do anything to the Christia. Next up was Phantom Knight Breaksword. Now, I didn't go into this guy at all over the weekend. He's a really good card, but the rank 3 engine is Teratops, and like I said, I'm either going into Totem Bird to protect stuff, I'm going into Dante for the mill, or I'm using the Teratop engine as trade fodder for Morningstar or first turn Christia. Next up, Red Eyes Flare Metal. Went into this once. 2 Nastens. It's very rare you have 2 Nastens on board, but just in case you do, Flare helps you burn for game. Now onto the rank 8s. Hope Harbinger, one of the best rank 8s around. Cypher Dragon, number 62, and Galaxy Eyes Full Armour, just because of the way that those 3 work together. 1 Felgrand, because it's Felgrand. It might be a bit overkill because you've got the rank 10 train Super Dreadnought in here as well, but it does just as well. Galaxy Eyes, number 107, obviously you can use that as well with the, sorry guys, the Galaxy monsters there. But he's also just a really nice generic rank 8. Heretic Son of Dragon Overlord of Heliopolis. Now, I really like this card, especially in this deck, because you don't mind discarding stuff. Like, if you've got a Superbia stuck in hand and you want to dump it, he works really well. And if you've activated Contact and brought back Superbia to bring back another one, your Superbia is kind of like null and void or dead that turn unless you're going to rank 8 it. So you can have this guy to pop that, send stuff from your hand, and start popping your opponent's cards to clear the board. Now, a card that I really like is RZ. He's just really nice. If you go second and you haven't got enough to deal your opponent game, but they've still got cards left on the field, you can, I mean, let's put it this way, if they've got a trap set and they haven't activated it during a summon or the battle phase, it can't really be that like useful to them at the moment. So with RZ, you literally just call any random card. So in the Darklord deck, call Blue Eyes. You're not going to have one in there unless you do play it in there. Well, then you will. But you mill the top card, send it to the graveyard. So again, Darklords doesn't matter if it's one of their spells, traps, or a Darklord monster itself. That's fine. You then get to bounce back the card to the top of your opponent's deck. So they're just going to keep dead drawing. And then if you've already built up your board already, they're going to keep dead drawing until RZ or the rest of your board pokes them for game. And then on to the rank 10s. Number 35, Ravenous Tarantula. So, all monsters you control gain attack and defense equal to the difference between your life points and your opponent's. While this card has Xyz material, each time your opponent would special summon a monster or monsters, inflict 600 damage to your opponent. Once per turn, detach one material from this card, destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to this card. Now, you burn yourself so much. Because the Dark Lord's effects are during either player's turn, you're constantly bouncing your spells back. As long as you've got them in the grave, you're bouncing them back whenever you can. So your life points is always going to be a huge difference for your opponent. So a first turn, an early turn Tarantula is great. I didn't go into him this weekend. I think the only rank 10 I went into was number 81, Super Dreadnought, Rail Cannon, Super Dora. Just for the 32 beta and the protection, because my opponent was playing a heavy back row. I was like, well, I might as well bring this guy out, protect him, or whoever for the turn and poke for game. I think this was late on. But yeah, you contact Superbia, bring back Ixchel, and then you wait till your next turn, because Ixchel's only, all your Dark Lord monsters can only be special summoned once per turn. Last one up, Super Dreadnought, Rail Cannon, Gustav Max. Just for the pure fact that you can burn your opponent for 2k straight up, and then you've got a 3k beat. So if they've got, let's say they've got a full board of 3ks that you're not going to get over, bring this guy out in defense. I mean, obviously you could bring out Dreadnought, but if they've only got 2k life, bring this guy out in defense, detach, burn for 2k, game. He's like your Nightmare Shark, but for level 10, so you could easily put Nightmare Shark in as your rank 3 if you wanted to. So that is it for the Dark Lord deck profile. Updated version 2. What I would say with Dark Lords is, at the moment, they're good and they're fun, but they're not good enough to justify huge amounts of money on them. Like, the artwork is exquisite. Like, I can't argue with the artwork. I think it looks beautiful. But I don't feel that anybody should be spending huge amounts of money on this deck, because at this moment in time it's not it's putting its fight up against those meta decks at the moment, like the ABCs and Metaphors and stuff like that, especially with Christian in the board. But shy of that, it's not really, at this moment in time, it's not being a huge dent. So my opinion to you guys out there, if you want to be getting into this deck, is either find your XLs cheap enough and your Terratops cheap enough, like get them in a really good deal, or I just say don't pay the £25 for them. Especially with Terratops as well, because they're teetering on the edge. There is, there's speculation that it could be hitting the ban list, but then that would be a bit pointless with Junichi Shis or Zodiacs coming out. Anyway, so this is version 2, Dark Lords, new and improved. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and as always guys, happy dueling. If you like that video, why not check out our other videos available. We've got more deck profiles, pack openings, and of course duels. And don't forget to click on the most important button of all, that subscribe button, right in the bottom left hand corner.